Love after 50, what happens when the years go by, when the physical changes of aging take their toll, and when the excitement of the early stages of a relationship starts to fade. Have you ever looked across the room at your partner and thought, is this really it? For many couples, the journey of love after 50 is not as clear-cut as it once was. What once felt like an effortless connection now requires effort, patience, and understanding. It's not just about the occasional disagreements or misunderstandings. It's the subtle shifts that begin to creep into the relationship, often unnoticed, until they've become a larger issue. The routines that once brought you together may start feeling a little too predictable, and intimacy, once full of energy and excitement, can feel distant or even routine. Think about the way love was when you first met. The butterflies, the excitement of learning everything new about each other, the spontaneous adventures you shared, those were the moments that defined your relationship. As time goes on, it's easy to fall into habits, get caught up in work, health issues, family responsibilities, and before you know it, you've become more like roommates than partners. For many people, this shift in the relationship dynamic can be unsettling. And yet, this isn't a reflection of failure or a sign that the love is gone. It's simply the result of change, personal change, life change, and even relationship change. As we age, we experience shifts in both our emotional and physical needs, and those changes don't always align with our partner's evolving needs. So, the question becomes, is love after 50 really that different for men and women? As we enter our 50s and beyond, our relationships are often tested in ways they weren't before. Our bodies change, our mental health can shift, and our priorities may evolve. But the heart of the relationship, the love that has carried you for years, remains. The real question is, how do we nurture that love now? How do we preserve the bond we've worked so hard to build while facing the natural challenges of aging? Many of us may not even realize that love can feel different as we age because we're so caught up in adjusting to other changes. But the fact is, the love we feel after 50 is different from the love we experienced in our younger years. The dynamic of the relationship changes, sometimes imperceptibly, but it changes. And with that change comes both challenges and opportunities. So let's explore what makes love different for men and women after 50. How do men and women experience love as they age, and how can we navigate those changes to keep the love alive and thriving? Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. We're building a wonderful community here, and it's always nice to get to know one another. Where are you watching from today? Feel free to leave a comment below and share where you're joining us from. It's a great way for us to familiarize ourselves with each other. And if you're new here at Elderly Timeless Insights, we're so happy to have you with us. If you'd like to keep receiving more helpful tips and inspiring advice, simply hit the subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications. It's quick, easy, and ensures you won't miss any of the wisdom we share. Have you ever looked at your partner and wondered where the connection you once shared has gone? There was a time when every conversation was a deep dive into your thoughts, when physical affection came naturally, and when the laughter you shared seemed endless. But now, something feels different. I know it's a question many of us face as we age. What happened to the excitement, the spark, the closeness? Why does it feel like the connection that once defined our relationship is slipping through our fingers? It's a painful realization, one that's hard to admit. At first, it's subtle. Maybe there are fewer conversations. Maybe there's less affection. Maybe the routine has taken over. You've both been through a lot: work, raising children, personal challenges, but the years have piled on. And somewhere in the midst of it all, you've grown apart without even noticing it. It's easy to get caught in the day-to-day, to focus on everything and everyone around you, only to find yourself feeling like a stranger in your own relationship. I remember when I first started noticing it in my own relationship, how I'd come home from work and find that the familiar chatter had died down. Our evenings, once filled with shared stories and laughter, had become a quiet routine. It wasn't that we didn't love each other. It just felt like we had lost something. The emotional distance was creeping in, one silent evening at a time. You try to blame it on the usual things: busy lives, stress, health problems, or the kids moving out. But deep down, you can't shake the feeling that something more profound is happening. It's like you're still physically there, but the emotional connection that made the relationship feel alive is fading. There's a sense of guilt that comes with it, too. You wonder if it's your fault. You ask yourself, have I changed? Have they changed? And perhaps, most heartbreakingly, you wonder, is it too late to fix this? We all know that relationships evolve, but this kind of shift feels different. It's not a fight or an argument. It's the quiet erosion of something fundamental: emotional connection. And it's not just a minor issue, it affects everything. When emotional intimacy begins to fade, it impacts your ability to communicate, to connect physically, and to share your lives in a meaningful way. The good news, though, you don't have to accept this as the new reality of your relationship. This isn't the end, it's simply a phase, a challenge that can be faced head-on with the right understanding and tools. But how do you bridge the emotional gap? How do you bring back the connection you've both been craving? What if I told you that the solution is simpler than you think, and it starts with a shift in perspective? You see, love after 50 isn't a countdown to the end. It's a journey toward a deeper, more meaningful connection. But the question is, how do you find it? What needs to change to bring you both back to the place where you felt alive in each other's presence? Stay with me because we're about to dive into the key shifts that can help you reignite the connection you've been longing for. In just a moment, we'll explore how to reclaim that lost closeness and why understanding your partner's emotional needs after 50 is the first step toward lasting change. What if I told you that the reason love feels different after 50 isn't because it's fading, it's evolving? It's not the end of something beautiful. It's the beginning of a deeper, more fulfilling connection. The shift you're experiencing doesn't have to be a negative one. In fact, it can be the very thing that leads you to the most profound phase of your relationship. Think about it. As you and your partner move through life, the foundation of your relationship has already been built on years of experiences, memories, and shared history. The challenges you face now, whether it's health concerns, retirement, or the complexities of aging, don't have to undermine the connection you've already created. Instead, they can be the catalyst for a new kind of intimacy. The breakthrough comes when you realize that love after 50 is not about rekindling the old, it's about embracing the new. Sure, the physical intimacy may change, and the emotional landscape may look different, but this doesn't mean you can't experience a rich, vibrant connection. In fact, this is the moment when love can become even more meaningful than it was in your younger years. Consider this. Instead of holding on to what once was, what if you took this opportunity to deepen your emotional intimacy? What if this phase of life allowed you to build an even stronger, more authentic bond with your partner? This isn't a time to give up or feel discouraged. This is a time to lean into the changes and transform them into opportunities for growth. The magic pill here is awareness, understanding that both emotional and physical needs change as you age, and that it's natural for your relationship to evolve with these changes. The good news is that emotional connection can be restored and even enhanced with the right mindset. By shifting your approach to communication, intimacy, and time together, you can build a relationship that feels as fulfilling, if not more so, than before. But here's the catch: this transformation doesn't happen automatically. It requires conscious effort, a willingness to adapt, and a commitment to understanding each other's evolving needs. When you and your partner are both open to making these changes, the possibilities for your relationship are endless. This doesn't mean it's easy, but it's definitely worth it. And if you're wondering where to begin, the first step is understanding the subtle, yet powerful differences in how men and women experience love after 50. You'll be amazed at the insight this brings into your relationship and how small shifts in perspective can lead to huge rewards. But what exactly makes men and women experience love differently at this stage of life? Let's explore the crucial elements that shape this transformation and discover how to use these insights to your advantage. You'll want to stick around because understanding these key differences is the secret to making this stage of life the best chapter yet. So now that we've uncovered how love can evolve after 50, you might be asking, how can I make this shift in my own relationship? How can I transform the emotional distance and reconnect with my partner in a way that feels new, exciting, and fulfilling? The first step in discovering the solution is understanding that the emotional needs of men and women after 50 are different, and that's okay. In fact, it's the key to unlocking a new level of intimacy. Men and women may approach love differently at this stage in life, and recognizing those differences can help you meet each other's needs more effectively. Let's start with the emotional needs of women. As women age, emotional security and connection become even more important. After decades of life experience, women often crave deeper conversations, more emotional intimacy, and greater understanding from their partners. It's not just about companionship, it's about being truly seen, heard, and valued. This can sometimes create a disconnect, especially if men haven't fully understood this shift. Women may begin to withdraw emotionally when they don't feel heard or appreciated. This can lead to frustration and feelings of neglect, which only deepens the emotional distance. So the solution here is clear. Women need to feel emotionally supported and deeply connected to their partners. Now let's talk about men. Men, on the other hand, tend to experience emotional needs through a different lens as they age. As men get older, they often become more introspective and begin to crave emotional validation. This is a critical point. While they may not always express it verbally, men deeply desire to feel appreciated and respected. Many men, especially after 50, become more vulnerable to feelings of inadequacy or loss of purpose, especially when they are no longer in the workforce or have less physical energy than before. What does this mean for a relationship? It means that men need to feel valued for more than just being a provider or protector. They need emotional reassurance and affirmation, and they want to feel that they are still desired and loved. Without this, they may withdraw into themselves, leaving their partner feeling emotionally isolated. So what can you do to bridge this gap? Start by practicing active listening. Men and women both want to feel heard, but the key is to listen with empathy and intention, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Be open about your feelings, whether it's frustration, joy, or fear, and encourage your partner to do the same. This honest exchange fosters emotional closeness. Next, it's about creating moments of connection. Do things together that you both enjoy. Go for walks, watch movies, or even pick up a hobby together. These shared experiences will not only help reignite the spark, but they'll also strengthen your emotional bond. The goal is to rediscover what made you fall in love in the first place and build new memories that can help carry you through this phase of life. But this doesn't mean everything will be smooth sailing from here. Emotional shifts take time and effort to adjust to. Both partners need to be patient with one another, understanding that it's not about reverting to how things were. It's about building something new, one step at a time. The exciting part? These efforts pay off in ways you might not expect. When both partners feel understood and valued, the emotional connection deepens, and the relationship becomes even stronger and more resilient. The beauty of love after 50 is that it's not just about reliving the past, it's about discovering the joy of connecting on a deeper level. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Even with these solutions, it's easy to stumble along the way. Relationships aren't perfect, and mistakes are part of the process. In the next part, we'll talk about the inevitable failures couples face when trying to rekindle love, and why these moments are often the most valuable lessons in creating lasting intimacy. It's easy to think that the path to rekindling love is a straight line, but the reality is often much messier. Just because you've learned about emotional needs, communication, and intimacy doesn't mean the journey to deeper connection is seamless. Many couples, after realizing that their relationship needs more attention and effort, will face setbacks, and that's completely normal. When you try to reconnect, it may feel like you're forcing a spark that's long gone, or perhaps the way you approach intimacy feels awkward or out of sync. It's frustrating, discouraging, and at times, heartbreaking. But that's the thing about love. It doesn't always come easily, and sometimes it's in the struggle that the most meaningful progress is made. Take, for example, Lisa and John. They had been together for over 30 years, but after John retired, Lisa noticed a shift in their relationship. John, once active and always initiating plans, started retreating into his own world. Lisa felt like she was doing most of the work when it came to maintaining their emotional connection. She tried initiating conversations about their feelings, but John would often shut down or give one-word responses. Frustrated, Lisa sought advice from a therapist, hoping to rediscover their lost intimacy. Yet, even after weeks of talking through their issues, it still felt like they were talking past each other rather than truly hearing one another. There were times when Lisa felt like giving up, wondering if it was simply too late to fix the disconnect between them. But here's the thing about relationships. Sometimes you need to fail in order to succeed. The failure wasn't the problem. It was simply a part of the process. What Lisa and John didn't realize at first was that they were facing a common struggle in many long-term relationships, the challenge of adapting to life after major changes, like retirement, health issues, or simply growing older. These changes often affect the emotional dynamic between partners, especially when they haven't had the chance to truly process the shifts together. Their breakthrough came when they stopped trying to recreate the past. Instead, they began embracing the new phase of their relationship, understanding that it wouldn't look like it did when they were younger, but it could still be fulfilling and full of love. Slowly, they started being more intentional about their connection. John opened up about his feelings of loss after retiring, while Lisa began to approach their relationship with a sense of patience and understanding. It wasn't perfect, but they started making progress. The reality is that most relationships, especially after 50, go through ups and downs. You will fail at times. You'll feel frustrated, stuck, and unsure of what to do next. But the key takeaway here is that failure is not a sign of the relationship ending. It's an opportunity to learn and grow together. Every struggle, every awkward conversation is a step toward understanding each other better and building a deeper, more resilient connection. And here's where it gets exciting. Once couples push through the initial discomfort of failure, they often come out stronger on the other side. There is a breakthrough moment where things start clicking, and the emotional intimacy that was once lost begins to feel real again. So, how can you avoid staying stuck in these frustrating moments and move toward success? In the next part, we'll look at the practical steps that can help you move beyond the failures and into a stronger, more connected relationship. These are the tools that will help you turn the corner and experience a deeper love than you've ever known. Stay tuned, because these strategies could make all the difference in your relationship. As you navigate the ups and downs of love after 50, something incredible happens when you push through the frustration and commit to rekindling your emotional connection. The transformation that occurs isn't just about reviving old patterns of love, it's about embracing a new kind of love. A love that's deeper, more genuine, and more resilient. The big win in love after 50 is discovering a richer emotional intimacy. Couples who adapt to the changes in their relationship and truly engage with each other, even when things seem difficult, often end up feeling closer and more connected than ever before. But here's the surprising part. The love that forms after overcoming the struggles and failures is often far more fulfilling than it was before. Take, for example, Bill and Margaret, a couple who had been married for 40 years. When Bill retired, he found himself unsure of his place in the world. He had been the primary breadwinner for so long, and without the structure of work, he felt a loss of purpose. Margaret, too, was feeling a shift in their relationship. She had spent decades focusing on raising children, managing the household, and taking care of Bill, but now that their roles were changing, she felt somewhat isolated. At first, their attempts to reconnect felt awkward. Bill was often quiet, unsure how to communicate his emotions, while Margaret, frustrated by the lack of closeness, began withdrawing emotionally. They were both facing the same issue. They no longer knew how to be emotionally intimate with each other. The connection that had once come so naturally now seemed distant. But rather than giving up, Bill and Margaret began focusing on the future, not the past. They started discussing their individual needs and goals, and more importantly, they began listening to each other with the intention of understanding. Bill shared his feelings of loss about retirement, and Margaret opened up about how she was struggling to adjust to the changes in their relationship. As they began to communicate more openly, things started to change. The breakthrough came when they realized they weren't just partners in a relationship, they were also teammates in life. They started setting new goals together, making time for fun activities, and most importantly, they began to treat each other with renewed respect and appreciation. What began as a struggle turned into a deeper, more connected relationship. Bill and Margaret's story is just one example, but it's a reminder that love after 50 doesn't have to be less fulfilling. It can be richer and more meaningful. Couples who face their challenges head-on and embrace the emotional evolution of their relationship often find that the results are life-changing. They may not recapture the exact love they had in their younger years, but they create a new version of love, one that's based on mutual respect, emotional security, and a shared commitment to growing together. But how do you take this success and make it a lasting part of your relationship? That's where the final steps come in. In the next part, we'll explore how to continue nurturing this emotional intimacy and ensure that the love you've rediscovered stays strong, no matter what challenges come your way. Don't miss these essential strategies that will allow you to maintain and grow the love that is yours to enjoy, no matter your age. Love after 50 doesn't have to be a fading echo of what once was. It can be a vibrant and fulfilling journey that deepens as you embrace the changes that come with age. The key to keeping your relationship strong, emotionally connected, and passionate lies in understanding the shifts that happen naturally as you grow older and learning to navigate them together. We've talked about the struggles many couples face, the emotional distance, the physical changes, and the inevitable changes in how we communicate and connect. But the beauty of love after 50 is that it's a chance to rediscover each other on a deeper level. The love you share doesn't have to be defined by the limitations you might feel are imposed by age. It can evolve into something even more meaningful and enduring. The wisdom that comes with age offers a unique opportunity to reconnect with your partner in ways that weren't possible earlier in life. With decades of experience behind you, you have the tools to communicate more effectively, be more patient, and understand the emotional needs of your partner in a way that wasn't possible when you were younger. Instead of seeing the changes in love as a loss, view them as an opportunity, a chance to create something even more beautiful than what you thought was lost. So, how do you keep this renewed love alive? It starts with small, consistent actions, communication, shared experiences, physical affection, and most importantly, a commitment to each other's happiness. Don't let the busyness of life or the demands of aging get in the way of truly experiencing the fullness of love. You might think the journey of love after 50 will be slow, or that it's too late to build something new. But it's never too late to rediscover the love you have for each other, no matter how long you've been together. Take it one step at a time. Remember, every effort you make to understand each other, to communicate more openly, and to share emotional intimacy will bring you closer. You deserve to feel loved, valued, and seen. Whether you're facing changes in health, retirement, or the complexities of getting older, know that your relationship doesn't have to suffer. Instead, it can grow stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling. The love you've shared for years doesn't need to fade. It can evolve into something even more beautiful. Now is the time to embrace that love. Begin today and start building a stronger, more intimate and connected relationship, one that will last for many years to come. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your relationship. Is there a small step you can take today to reconnect with your partner? Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding, or a gesture of appreciation you've been meaning to share. Love after 50 can be everything you want it to be, and it starts with you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with someone who might need this message. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights into love, relationships, and life after 50. You've earned the love you deserve, and it's waiting for you to nurture it.